What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is another late night review. This is going to be The Walking Dead, Season 6, Episode 8, mid-season finale, and, man, just talk about on the edge of your seat the whole episode. I mean, it's just, especially because it's a mid-season finale, you expect death, you expect characters to be gone. And we only lost one, but it was kind of sad. But I'll get to that in a second. I want to start off talking about the opening shot, which was absolute. The way they shoot the show, and the things that they show, almost all of them have a purpose. You know, whether it's to show something or to show, like last week with the church. I thought the falling boards represented like their hope. You know, the hope was falling down, it was crumbling. Then it turned out not to be a metaphor, like the church is actually falling over. This week, though, they start off in Sam's room, and you see the ants coming down and just on the cookie, and I'm just like, that is genius. Like, just the comparison between. They think they're safe. You know, he thinks he's safe inside his room, but it's all right there. You know, this swarm is right here. It's here and now. Even if you want to pretend like it doesn't exist, it's there. I love the metaphor. I love it. Very, very well done. Now, I'm just gonna talk about this. I don't know what's gonna happen. I have not read the comics. And on The Talking Dead tonight, they had the maker of the comics, and he was saying some stuff that I feel like it feels like spoilers. I don't know if he's kidding. I don't know. I don't care about the comics. Frankly, I think not reading the comics is actually more beneficial, because then you go into this completely clean slate. You have no idea what's going to happen. You don't know who dies, who lives. You don't know any of it. This whole Negan character, the fact that I know that a certain somebody, if you don't want to know, close your ears for a second. Okay, you're good. I don't want to know that Glenn dies later. You're good. You're good. You can listen again. I don't want to know any of this stuff that happens in the comics that it hasn't happened yet. And I know they've changed it from the comics a bit, but they're staying fairly true from what I hear. You know, they've changed little things. And so every time somebody tells me something about the comics, about, you know, well, this is coming up, I don't care. I don't want to know. I want it to be a surprise. I want to be shocked when this stuff happens. But now some of the stuff that's about to happen, and some of the stuff he said, Robert Kirkman, I think his name is, some of the stuff that he said, I'm just like, seriously? Like, you did not just say that. If you don't watch The Talking Dead, it's most of the time it's interesting. This is the very first time that I feel like they may have spoiled the next episode, because most of the time they just talk about this episode. The people they have on the couch are very, if they're a part of the show, they're very good about not saying anything about the future. They've had what's her name, the girl that's flirting with Rick, Ron and Sam's mom. They had her on the couch. They had Enid on the couch, and they talked to Glenn last week. They've had these people on there, and they're very good about not saying anything to ruin anything. But this guy just, he's the writer of the comics, and he just comes up and just starts talking about stuff that's happening next in the comics and stuff that's going to happen next in the show because of this will happen in the I'm like, dude, like, seriously? Like, you're just going to talk about all this stuff? Come on. But anyway, that was my little spiel about The Talking Dead. The Walking Dead review. Okay, so, it starts with obviously the tower falling, the church tower falling into it, busting down the wall. The walkers are coming in through the fog, and everybody's like running, scrambling to escape. First, I'm going to talk about Maggie, because she barely featured in this, which is probably for the best, because I feel like her story's not done yet. I feel like she's probably going to have the baby, because it's the same feeling I get when I think about Judith. I feel like these babies are important. Like repopulating the world is eventually going to be something that they have to touch on, because I, once again, not reading the comics, I don't know how this is going to end. Um, but I would like to think that it ends with them kind of figuring out how to. Obviously, they already know how to kill the walkers, or re-kill them. But I'd like to see them figure out how to get rid of this virus and stop any more walkers from being produced. And then from there, that's when they start to rebuild. Now, obviously, it would take a very long time, but having Judith and having Maggie be pregnant, it's kind of like showing hope for the future. And so I don't see Maggie dying. Um, I I kind of suspected it near the end of the fifth season, but through most of this season, I'm just like, I don't see her dying. I really don't. I think she's become a very important part of it. Uh, let's see. So she's on the ground. She's like scrambling to get away, shooting some of the walkers that are coming forward. Climbs up the ladder, and you just have this moment of just, oh my god, she might just die. The ladder falls off and it swings, and she grabs onto the edge, and I'm like, is that thing about to break? What's going? And she climbs up. She's okay. And they have one final scene where Glenn and Enid are climbing a tree to look inside, and he sees Maggie, and that's how that ends. So don't know where that's going. It seems very interesting. Excited to see it. But then you've got Carol and Morgan. You've got Denise and the wolf, and you've got Eugene, Rosita, and Tara. They're all in the same house, and I love how they showed it, because they showed they showed Morgan and Carol, and then they went down towards the floor, and then it seemed like they went under the floor into the basement, and that's where Denise and the wolf are. And then at one point they're showing Eugene, Rosita, and Tara, and they go through a wall, and it shows Morgan and Carol. I'm just like, that's so smart, the way they do that, the genius camera editing. And so Carol, I guess she's faking being seriously hurt, concussion hurt. And then one moment, Morgan's going downstairs to check on something, and then she turns off the light. He comes back up, and she just tackles him to the ground, runs downstairs, takes out a knife, and is about to kill a wolf. Morgan comes in, and then they're having this argument. She's just like, I'm going to kill you to kill him so that nobody else has to die. And once again, you're seeing the two conflicting philosophies to survive in this world. You've got Carol, who, she's not a wolf. She's not insane. She doesn't think that killing is absolutely okay, but she thinks it's necessary. She believes it's a necessary evil, whereas Morgan thinks killing makes you like them. You're no better off than them. And so they're clashing, and they have a little fight, and Morgan ends up kind of the victor. He obviously he doesn't kill Carol, but he knocks her out. But of course, because he's an idiot, this fight gives the wolf a chance to go on the offensive. Knocks him out with a stick, takes the knife off of him, cuts his hands loose, and then Denise tries to talk him out of killing them, which stalls just long enough for Eugene, Tara, and Rosita bust in, guns ready. He has a knife to her throat, says, throw me your weapons. And they're just like, you don't need her. It's like, you're right, I don't. And then holds the gun to her head and just takes her outside and just goes outside. So, don't know where that's going. I feel like that may be the end of Denise, but like we've learned, if you don't see the body, if you don't see a dead body, don't assume anything. But then again, Denise is not Glenn, so I feel like she may be gone. So yeah, that's how that ends. And then you've got the other house. A lot of stuff happens. Okay. So first you've got Ron and Carl. Obviously, Ron was about to kill Carl at the end of the last episode before the tower fell. And then he just has this moment where he goes into the garage. Carl follows him in there, and it's hard to describe because I'm not really sure where his motivations are. I'm not really sure if he's more mad at Carl because of what happened with Enid, because he saw them together, he saw them kind of hitting it off, and if it's jealousy or if it's the fact that Rick killed his dad. Maybe that's playing into it a bit. Maybe it's a little bit of both, or if he's just so far gone and like messed up. Because he's seen a lot. He saw his dad die. He saw his mom straight up murdering a woman in the kitchen. He's been through a lot. And so he tries to kill Carl. And they're wrestling. Rick is busting down the door. Walkers are able to get in because of this. They attract the walkers, so they get in. Now they're trying to hold down this door to keep them out. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the house, they're trying to break down a different door, and then they're trying to break through the window. They finally break through, and it's just like, okay, they're done. Like, nobody's surviving this. And then they grab a couch, put it in the stairs to block it off, and stay upstairs. I'm just like, okay. They're okay. They're good. And finally, they do the question that everybody's been asking: why do you not cover yourself in walker guts more often? To which, going back to The Talking Dead for a second, Robert Kirkman, the fan from the audience, asked this question: why don't they do it more often? He did give some good points. It can give you infections. It doesn't smell good. It loses its potency, and you don't have to keep changing out the walker guts. But they put walker guts on to walk outside. Meanwhile, Deanne, who at the beginning kind of saved Rick, like he's sitting there, he's trying to hold off the walkers, attract them to let everybody else get a chance to go in. Well, Deanna steps up and says, we need to get out of here. Because Rick's just like, you need to get out. No, we do. And so she, because she's the worst shot in the world, keeps hitting all the walkers in the wrong places with her shots. But they have a moment where she starts wrestling. She like sticks the gun to the walker's throat, shoots it, but falls back onto another walker who ends up like with a buzzsaw on his back. And then they finally get her inside, just to see that when she fell there was another walker nearby, and she ends up with a bite. My personal feeling on it, if this had happened within the first 3 episodes of this season, I wouldn't have cared. I know that sounds really mean and like, what? She's a human being too. But especially all throughout last season, like you can just see how she's lost. She doesn't get it. She doesn't seem like she's ever gonna get it. But starting after episode 4, they came back to episode 5 after telling Morgan's story, and kind of showed her a bit, and showed what she was going through, and showed, she was kind of, after what happened with the wolves, I think she was kind of realizing that she had to figure things out. She had to listen to Rick. She realized Rick was right, that the world is just full of these people now, like the wolves. And within these last 4 episodes, she really did become a good character. So I just, like I said, if this had happened earlier this season, probably wouldn't have mattered. But now it's like, dang, like she seemed like she was maybe the one that just has a vision for the future that Rick really doesn't. Rick is always about what's coming next. What's our next move? We gotta get through this. We gotta get through this to get to this. And she's very much more. She had the plan. Very much more. Let's look forward. What can we do? How can we not just survive but live in this world? So I was sad to see her go. And there are several moments that are also very hard to think about. Just these moments with Michonne, she's giving her advice, telling her, you have to do what's right for you, not just for the greater good. What is right for you? And they just have this moment where Michonne is obviously, she's come a long way from just being this, I'm all alone, I'm going to do this by myself, all this stuff. She's come a long way from that to where now she actually wants to live in a community. She wants to survive with people. And so just having this talk with her really gets to her. And I'm excited to see where they take Michonne's character from here. If they kill her off in the season, or mid-season premiere, I may just stop watching, because it would kind of feel like Noah a little bit, like Noah at the end of last season. It just felt like he had so much promise for his character. Like he felt like he was really coming into the show. He was making a list of things, his goals, what he wanted to do, all this stuff. It seemed like he was planning ahead for the future, like he was ready to, and then he dies that episode. I'm just like, oh, what? But no. And if they do the same thing with Michonne, I'm very upset, because it seems like she's about to have a very interesting character arc, where she's gone from being lonely, not wanting any help, to now she wants help, to now she wants to survive with people. Now, who knows where she can go? She's just been given this great advice by Deanna to do what's right for her. But if I don't see her dying off anytime soon. I feel like she's got such a good ways to go. Once again, not knowing anything about the comics really helps. Anyway, so yeah, that was a very touching moment between her and Deanna. And then at the very end, they got all this stuff on. They're walking out, and Deanna, kind of in a moment of self-sacrifice, instead of putting an end to it, shooting herself, she ends up opening the door and shooting at the walkers. She actually does hit a few of them in the head this time. But I don't think anybody really talked about it on The Walking Dead, but this was a moment of just, she could have done what was right for her and just ended it quickly so she wouldn't have to go through the pain. But instead, she decides to use these last bullets to draw the walkers closer to her, to draw the attention away from the rest of the group. And nobody really talked about that. I think that was very important for her character, to go out not just being bitten and just like, I can't live with the pain, done. She actually took a moment and thought about somebody other than herself, which obviously telling Michonne, do what's right for you, yeah, that is kind of a bit selfish, but at the same time, Michonne's been so selfless for so long that, yeah, Rick's not the same at all. Everything he's done for him and his little group. He hasn't really helped other people. Whereas Michonne, she started off helping herself, and then when Andrea came into her life, she started helping other people, and now it's kind of like, help yourself a bit, Michonne. Really help. And Deanna's always been kind of a bit selfish. Ever since they met Rick, ever since we met her, she has been kind of selfish. She's been thinking about herself. And then after what happened with the wolves and all that, she really started thinking about other people and what's going on with it. And then the way she goes out is thinking about them. What's best for them, not what's best for her. And taking on the walkers, drawing them in to distract. I mean, that was, in my opinion, that's the ultimate story arc for a character. Whenever they finally realize where their flaws are, and yeah, they end, but guess what? They end in a note that, they end finding out how to overcome that flaw. I love that. So, that's the mid-season finale. Just so much. I don't know where it's going from here. It has that final scene where they're walking out into the walkers, and you've got Sam like, Mom? Mom, like they're walking, holding hands, walking through it, and he's like freaking out, saying "Mom" over and over again. Uh, and very interesting that nobody was like, hey, shh, nobody was saying anything like that. They were just, it's like nobody noticed. So either this kid is in his head saying all this stuff, which would be very interesting, or it's just they're so focused. I can't imagine you hear this kid say, "Mom, dude, shut up," like, shh, don't say anything. Somebody would say something, I would think. So I'm wondering if maybe this kid's just going crazy now, and like he thinks he's calling out to his mom, but instead he's just like not moving and he's not talking at all. That'd be crazy. Um, but that's it ends with him saying "Mom" as they're walking through the herd, and you hear the herd getting louder because likely they hear the kid and know that something's wrong. So yeah, don't know where that's going. Like I said, with going to Maggie, he sees her up on the thing or whatever. Um, I don't know how long that's gonna hold with all those walkers. So hopefully she makes that okay. I feel like Glenn's probably gonna do everything he can to get to her and save her. And you've got the wolf and Denise leave, and then the rest of them are still inside the house. So they're still in there. They're not out yet. Uh, the last thing I do want to talk about, just because I feel like if you have not yet seen the 2 minute preview for the mid-season premiere, episode 9, you don't have to watch the rest of this. Just go ahead and leave your comments down below, like, subscribe, whatever. But this is exclusively talking now about the 2 minute preview, because this can be very interesting. We found out about Eugene in this episode as the one that said help on the radio to Daryl, Abraham, and Sasha. So we know that when he said help, that's when they were driving down the road. Now I don't know how far down the road they meet these bikers. So maybe they're close to Alexandria, maybe they're still a little bit of ways. Honestly, I kind of thought that Daryl, Sasha, and Abraham were going to show up and save the day with the rocket launchers and the fuel truck. But obviously that's not the case. So yeah, you finally meet Negan. At least I'm pretty sure it's Negan. This is supposed to be like the big bad guy for the series, at least for this season. And don't really know much about him. I've tried to keep my knowledge of Negan to a minimum. All I know is that he's a bad guy. He's a bad dude. So I don't know where this is going. But you get to finally see him, and you get to see just this moment where, even though you've got Daryl, Sasha, and Abraham, it's still a moment where they feel very vulnerable. They're in a fuel truck, so one misplaced shot, kaboom. It could be very interesting to see how they get out of this situation, if they're able to keep the truck, their weapons, all this stuff. Very interested to see like where he ties in the story, how they tie together. So yeah, very, very good. Didn't reveal too much. It almost felt like kind of, stay tuned for a bit more. It felt like a bit added to the end of the episode. It just felt like 2 more minutes added on. It didn't feel like there were any spoilers or anything like that. It just this is what's to come. So I like that, and a lot of stuff going on. If you watch the show and you were not on the edge of your seat for most of that episode, you must not have been watching hard enough. But yeah, just very, very interesting to see a mid-season finale where we only lost one person, and it was, even though it was sad because she had grown as a character, it wasn't one of the main characters. I really expected there to be one that was gone. So interesting. Excited to see where it goes from here. Excited to see what they're doing next. I really hope that what Kirkman said on The Talking Dead is not true about the next episode. Because if it is, I'm going to feel like he spoiled everything for me, and I'm just going to hunt him down. I will find you, and I will kill you. So yeah, let me know what you think. Comment down below, like, subscribe, and I'll see you at the next review. Peace out.